Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, Emma, let me give you a little heads up. The first sectional tonight was very problematic from an internet standpoint.
Okay.
I kept getting kicked off every 3 or 4 minutes, and I just had to give up, and Dorothy did some good work. I called Jackie for the second sectional and had her prepped, but I was able to be on the whole time. So I'm hoping that whatever was going on, I mean, it wasn't my devices, it was something where I am with the internet. I'm hoping that's all done now.
Okay.
But if I do get kicked off, I'll try coming back on, but if it's problematic again, then I'll probably just ask you to work on Hexenlied stuff, so.
Cool.
Hello, how many folks, I'm on my phone tonight. How many folks do we have? Oh, we have folks, good, great. Great. Welcome. It's great to see all of you. I'm actually in Knoxville, Tennessee. I got to make one trip back to Virginia to move some stuff. So I'm not in my normal setup. I've just got my iPhone and my iPad. I don't have my piano. I apologize. I was just telling Emma that there were some substantial problems with my internet for the first sectional tonight. The second 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock sectional, things actually worked just fine. So I'm hoping we're over all of that and I'll be with you the whole time. If I do leave suddenly though, it's only because I've been kicked off and I'll see about getting back on or whatever. So welcome. Let's do a couple of things just physically. It's the end of a long day, I'm sure, for all of us. So maybe go ahead and close your eyes. Let your chin just kind of drop down, nice and relaxed. And let your head just, tilt it to one side, just a very gentle stretch in the neck, nothing crazy. And back to center. The other way, just a gentle stretch. And then go ahead and maybe just roll your head not too far in any one direction. Don't be like the high school kids trying to crack every joint. Just very gentle. Good. Just kind of let that shake out. Just let your head just kind of bob right there, just on top of your neck. Hands, give yourself a little bit of a massage. See if you can work out some of that American horizontal, speech and squish it all back to vertical. Some very light tapping. Get some blood flowing. The face, again, it's a long day. I started my day in Austin, Texas, and managed to make it to Knoxville, so. Good, okay, good, nice. Let yourself have a couple of easy, relaxed sighs. And try one more. See what kind of space you can help create. Nice. And how about one more? Very good. Good. Let's keep warming up, but by working on some text and rhythm. Let's go to our Thanksgiving postcard. Let's go to "'Tis the Gift to Be Simple." So we'll kind of wake our minds up with just speaking in rhythm. So let's go through this once. We'll go through it in its entirety with repeats. And the thing takes like a minute, 15 seconds. Let's go through the whole thing with repeats, and then we'll talk a little bit about how we can make this a little better. So just speaking, I'll give you 3 and you're in. 1, 2, go. 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to calm down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn. Turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn. Turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. Okay, so when you are singing this, when you're speaking it, when you're singing it, I think the most important thing with this piece is to make sure it feels good physically, okay? Don't let your effort to get the words out to be the appropriate tempo. Don't let those things create a sense of tension, a sense of like grip. When you have those black marks telling you when to breathe, when to separate phrases, make sure you shorten the note ahead of time. That's fundamental in so much music. You know, 'tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift. I mean, free should be unaccented. It should be a little quieter. It should be short. It shouldn't be hard to sneak a breath there. It really shouldn't. So if you're finding it to be a challenge, ask yourself, hey, wait a minute. How am I approaching this? Am I being relaxed? Sometimes we need definite final consonants. Measure 5 into 6. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be. You got to have that aspiration, right, right. Place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. So when you're listening to yourself, do you hear the aspiration of the T? It doesn't have to be crazy, right? You don't have to spit to the back of a concert hall. But when you're recording, even with your microphone, there's got to be a clear at those moments. But when I've listened to some people singing this, and it's going very nicely. But this piece really should be simple. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got from a piano teacher my freshman year of college, the great Frenchman Claude Zimmerman looked at me and said, "Rob, not everything is difficult," which I think is really applicable here. Not everything is difficult. Hexenlied's difficult. Simple Gifts is not difficult. So when you're this piece should feel like butter. Okay, let's do this. Emma, do you have those playlists up? This one's on the audio playlist. Do you have the audio playlist readily available?
I can pull it up, but if Kara is an A1 wants to do it instead, that's okay.
Kara, you got this. Do you have the playlist, Kara?
No.
I know you said to have them ready, but I apologize.
Okay.
Work and then we spent maybe 10
fine.
minutes with the baby. It's insane right now.
Oh, well, hey, what if we do this,
Okay.
Emma? I am sensing you're leaning towards an A1 to do this. Bernie, do you have that up quickly? No. Okay.
But I could sing it without it if you'd like. I don't know if
Well, yeah, mostly I just wanted the just to make sure that the pitch reference was good, because obviously, if we had great success with the soprano ones. If one of you plays the accompaniment and sings it, then it takes care of all of the delay issues, right? And obviously, I mean, I can sing it too, but it's not in the right octave. So if there's anybody out there who's like, yeah, I want to sing this. But I think it'd be great if we could all sing it together.
Hey,
Emma,
Rob?
do you want to try?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
I mean,
Sorry, I was
Okay.
going to have the audio if you wanted me to, but if Emma's going to sing it, that's great.
Okay, who was that talking? I couldn't see.
Sorry, that was me, Liz.
Oh, Liz, great. Okay. Well, yeah, you know what? We can give more than one a shot. So Emma, let's try this. So Liz, make sure you've got the playlist up, so you're ready for next. But Emma, let's try. Go ahead and press play. Have the volume turned up pretty well. And so I'm going to take myself off mute. I'm going to mute myself. Emma's going to sing it. You all sing with Emma. The point of this is not that Emma is singing by herself. The point of it is that you're all singing in your own space. Here we go.
All right, I'm just gonna play the sound first to make sure that it comes through. Can you hear it? Okay. All right. Tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free, tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. Tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free, tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. Lord, true simplicity is gain, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed to turn, will be our delight, and turning we come round right. Lord, true simplicity is gain, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed to turn will be our delight, and turning we come round right. I ran out of breath at the end. I know that's supposed to be 2 beats.
No, it's great. Emma, so many things were fantastic there. Thank you for doing that. Really, yeah, that's great. Just a couple things that I would say, and again, these are encouraging things for everyone, not just you. I think in this moment, and I realize this is not like it's ideal, right? You've got, so it may just be what's coming across to me, through the Zoomosphere. Is that a word, Zoomosphere? So I could use just on the final consonants that are the T's and the D. Right, delight, gained. Just a little more emphasis there, so it's clear. Now again, we'll take a listen to what your recording is when you're submitting it. It may just be, all that's going on with the accompaniment. I think we could use a little more there, though. But I would say if you can find a greater sense of connected line. Now these lines are short. Tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free, tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. Just a little more of a legato shape. And we're talking about a spectrum here, but if this end is like staccato and totally separate, and this is legato and like ridiculously connected, like too connected, you're somewhere in the middle here. I think you can get a little more. Think of it less notey and more line. When true simplicity is gained, when true simplicity is gained. Think about the gesture and the way the notes all connect. But honestly, that's a great example. Thank you. Liz, do you want to try it?
To sing it?
Yeah. It's okay if you don't. It's okay if you don't. Oh, well, one thing I would say is we should be doing more of this in these rehearsals.
Mm-hmm.
And, so if there's something you want to try, this gives, for anybody, it gives you a chance to get a little bit of feedback. I mean, I know it's a little nerve-wracking, but again, I think you'll find that the feedback that I want to give is very encouraging. I know what it means to put yourself out there and feel like you're being judged. So I assure you, it will be very kind. No one is going to yell. But let's keep this in mind going forward. If there's something you want to try, this is a great thing to do. Let's do this, though, to keep moving forward tonight. Let's go to our Halloween postcard. Let's go to Rosemary's Baby.
Hey, Rob, can I just
Yes.
ask a quick question before we move
Of course,
on?
sure.
So
Yeah.
when I was singing along, I found that I want to know, is there a trick or a suggestion at 6 when we say the word right and then start with twill, and then
Yeah.
again at 18 when we sing delight and then go to till? I found that I was cheating and trying to use the same T for both words.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Yeah,
I have a
we
hard
definitely
time
don't want,
separating those.
well, right now. Well, yeah. So okay. So Olivia, it's Olivia, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I've only got like 2 people on my screen, so I
Right,
thought I
sorry.
recognized the word. No, that's okay. I'm going to start with measure 18 first. And guys, this is a great question. Measure 18 of "'Tis the Gift to Be Simple." Notice there, I've got the line. You are supposed to connect those. You're supposed to elide those. So getting into 18, to turn, turn will be our delight till. Connect those. Will be our delight till. I'm not saying this. Will be our delight till. See the difference? So yeah, so there, Olivia, definitely connect, and the word is allied, right? You take the end of one word and you connect it to the beginning of the next. Now, going back though, I think you said measure 6, right? The first time you mentioned was measure 6. That we definitely want to be separate. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be. Place just right, 'twill be. It may not be enough time for you to breathe. It may be enough time, okay? There will be times when I'm very specific, breathe here. Sometimes, though, it's about the individual person. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be. The point is we do want 2 T's there. So yeah, so to answer your question, with those 2 examples, one time we want 2 T's, one time we don't. It's a lot of it's the prerogative of the director. What I'm just trying to go for a balance between ease and grace, and also making sure that we are, communicating the grammar effectively. Yeah. So does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's a great question, and again, it's it shows the example of when we're aligning and when we're not. So that's good. I like it. All right, cool beans. Let's go, please, to Halloween and Rosemary's Baby specifically. I just want to keep this piece in our head. Is there someone on the call tonight, section leader or otherwise, who's got the Zonia playlist pulled up and would love to sing this for the group?
Did we get just the audio for this song?
It's in we've got video with me conducting, so it'll be truly inspiring to you, I'm certain. That's Zoom humor. But it's in that same YouTube playlist. So if you've got that YouTube playlist handy, which I bet you do.
I put it in the chat. I think I can.
Yeah. And again, it can be Emma, it can be Kara, it can be somebody else.
That's the wrong
And
one.
again, the point is that we all sing together. But yeah, in my list, it is at the bottom, and my hands are up and ridiculous.
I could try. I think I've got it.
Go for it,
Yeah,
Bernie.
you'll try?
Okay.
All right, so Bernie will try this. So Bernie, yeah, just have the accompaniment turned up pretty good so we can hear it. And if you want, Bernie, just give a little head nod or something so people know when to breathe in case they can't quite hear the accompaniment perfectly.
Can you hear my fan?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way, not in a way that is distracting.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna mute myself. So you take the lead here.
I'm trying to look at your video too as I do it. La 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 la. La la where I mess up a little because of I'm not used to the counting, but that's all I could do.
No, that's great. Well, you mean the counting on the repeat?
Yeah, the repeat.
Yeah.
I'm still.
Yeah. No, you did it great. You did it great. In
I
fact,
have a question.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I too have a hard time reading when to come in. I can't understand your direction of when to come in. Even in the beginning, I can't, I don't know if I'm missing it or what.
Do you mean the sheet music or the conducting or what?
When you're conducting it, I don't know when to come in on the.
Okay. Well, the conducting is going to be what it is. So I would encourage you, if it's not helpful to you, just ignore it. I mean, I'm not trying to be cute. I'm simply saying in the Zoom setting, you know, when I'm recording myself on a phone using an iPad for a score and a computer to play the music, you know, it's not going to be like we're in the room together getting to know each other. So what I would say is, you know, there's 4 measures before you come in, and you should be able to hear those 4 measures in the accompaniment. So I would say, I mean, especially on this piece, it's not like my conducting is going to, you know, be earth-shattering in terms of what you're supposed to do. So I would say, don't worry about that. Just go with the accompaniment. And I bet you'll you know, try it a few times, and I bet you'll be like, oh, I see what's going on. But yeah, conducting.
Yeah, I did when I'm rehearsing it myself, and I wasn't looking. Yeah, it was easier for me to just get in, but.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think the conducting, like on the Hexenlied, I think will be helpful, but especially on a piece like this where, let me tell you, this is one of those pieces where I would love to just walk off stage and have you guys all sing beautifully. You know, if we were in the real world. So yeah. Yeah, Bernie, very, very nice. Not really much that I would say. Bernie brought up, though, that it's a little tricky on the repeat. And, you know, we had the exact same conversation in the last rehearsal. Yes, just be aware that the first ending, it seems like you're supposed to start earlier than you want to, right? So, yeah, I would say just know that that's the way it is. You kind of got to jump on it. But, you know, if you think about your rhythm, if you count your 2 measures and come in, you'll be good.
Hey, Rob,
but no, yeah, go ahead.
can I just give the hint that has helped me is that before we, like at the very beginning when we start, the piano goes ba-da-da-da-da-da. Not those notes, but it's ba-da-da-da-da-da, and it does that twice. But on the repeat, you only hear it once. And then so that might help Sharon for listening.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Yeah, it's you only get, you're right. It's a 2-measure grouping and you only get one of them. So, no, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, any questions about this, guys? I mean, oh, let me throw one thing out there. I do think in terms of, it's kind of like the Simple Gifts thing. I mean, all of the music we're singing, you want it to get to a point where it's comfortable enough where you're not holding tension, you're not nervous about it, you're not kind of, oh, I'm gonna work to get through this. You want to try to move beyond that. But, you know, with this lullaby, a lullaby should be kind of carefree. So, you know, when you're coming to the ends of those phrases, having a nice diminuendo, you know, it doesn't have to be a large volume, you know. So think about the way you would want a lullaby to sound, right? We're singing a lullaby, so you bring that idea to it as you're performing it. Don't put it out there in the world of choral music where, you know, we forget about kind of the emotional context. But that's great. I'm ready to move on from this unless there's any questions about it.
How do we get it out of our head?
Right. Well, and yeah,
Why am I sleepy?
Yeah. You know, so spend time with the recording. If the conducting helps you, great. You know, I can tell you, with the conducting, one of the things I was thinking about, especially with this piece, is I didn't want to just do this to get you through the recording. I would never do this in concert with this piece, right? Because I want you to get away from the notiness. I don't want it to be la, 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 la. I don't want it to be that. So that's why I'm not conducting that, right? So conducting is supposed to communicate something about the music. And so that's why I'm doing this, many, many times I'm doing one to the bar. And, so that's why I'm doing that with this piece. Hopefully it will be down the line helpful and make some sense. Because this is just not what we want, right? It's not that. Good. Let's stay with Halloween and move to the Hexenlied. So,
hey, Rob, are you in that room all spooky just specifically so we can work on the Halloween music?
No, I'm in an Airbnb in Knoxville, and so I don't have any choice as to where I am.
No, I was like, ooh, it's all spooky.
Well, there's not a light on the ceiling anywhere, so I've got this little death lamp. Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, we focused on the first stanza. Last week, we focused on the second stanza. Tonight, we're going to focus on the third stanza, and then we're going to be going through the whole thing just to kind of get the scope of this piece. I think, I know you've already been working on it. I think you'll like the third stanza because the third stanza has a lot of repetition of things we've already done. So what I want to do is, in fact, the third stanza, which starts on page 12, only has like 4 new small little snippets of phrase, and the rest of it's repeat. So here we go. Let's look, please, at page 12, and I want to go through it phrase by phrase. You guys just be my echo. So here's the bottom of page 12. This is where you come in, which is the pickup to 39. Well, the first thing you hear from the sopranos is ein Feuer Drach, and then you say flieget das Dach. Say that. Flieget das Dach. My turn. Und bringet uns Butter und Eier. Und bringet uns Butter und Eier. Remember, the word looks like butter, but it's not butter. One more time, listen, please. Und bringet uns Butter und Eier. Und bringet uns Butter und Eier. Die Nachbarn dann sehen, try that. Die Nachbarn dann sehen, die Funken wehen, und schlagen ein Kreuz vor dem Feuer, and that's it. That's all the new stuff, really. Let's keep going. Bottom of 13. Die Schwalbe fliegt. Die Blumen erblühen zum Kranze. Bald huschen wir leis aus der Tür. You repeat that. Bald huschen wir leis aus der Tür. Ich heiße zum prächtigen Tanze. And then it's just more repetition. So this piece is more like 2.5 stanzas as opposed to 3 full stanzas. Any questions about any of these words we just went through?
Hey, Rob, it's Olivia.
Yep.
So when you said on the repeat, it's the first time it's les aus des tours, and the second time the aus is not in it, correct? You were saying repeat, but.
We're on page 14?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you're exactly right. Yeah. Bald huschen wir leis aus der Tür. Yeah, you're exactly right. Bald huschen wir leis der Tür. Yeah. So, always go with a score for sure. Yes. Good. Anything else?
Hey, Carly here. The
Yeah.
Juch.
Yep.
It's
No, 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 no.
Your
Remember, yeah, this is German. In fact, it's many languages in the world.
Yeah.
It's we call it the J glide. Think of it like a Y. Yochaisa. It's just a ya. Yeah. Like if you know the German word for yes is jawohl or ja. It's actually spelled J-A. So
Okay,
think like yeah. So it's Yochaisa. So it's just a ya sound.
Your Yeah.
Yochaisa, yeah. The rest of it's normal. But yeah, that J there is no ja sound in German. Yochaisa.
Thank you.
And by the way, Yochaisa, it's just, I don't think it's a real word. I think it's like an expression of excitement. Like it's not far from hallelujah, to be honest. It's that kind of an idea. Yochaisa. So yeah, so it's not so much a word as it's an expression. Good, anything else? Cool, all right. Let's back up to 12. And now let's go through it in rhythm. Now, slow tempo, but let's go through it in rhythm. And just for the sake of what you'll always have to deal with, I'll start with the sopranos. So I'll start with the sopranos, pick up to 38, and then you pick up with Fliegt das Dach. So here we are in rhythm, but nice and slow. So here's our dotted quarter. 1, 2, here I go. Ein Feuerdrach, flieget das Dach und bringet uns Butter und Eier. Die Nachbarn dann sehen, die Funken wehen und schlagen ein Kreuz vor dem Feuer. Rest, rest, rest. Die Schwalbe fliegt, die Blumen erblühen zum Kranze. Bald huschen wir leis aus der Tür, bald huschen wir leis der Tür hoch heißer zum prächtigen Tanze. Bald huschen wir leis aus der Tür, bald huschen wir leis aus der Tür, Jochaisa zum prächtigen Tanze. Jochaisa zum prächtigen Tanze. Now, by the way, the moment that Olivia pointed out is kind of tricky. Back there at the bottom of 14, measure 54, just note that that's tricky. You know, the arranger is trying to make sure you get to where you need to be. So that phrase starting at 52, let me speak it one more time just for my benefit too. So here's the downbeat of 52. Bald huschen wir leis aus der Tür, bald huschen wir leis der Tür, Jochaisa zum prächtigen. Yeah, that's tough. So just know that that's tough. I'm not sure it was the best choice by the arranger, but we'll go with it because it's on the page. Good. Any questions about this stanza before we speed it up a little bit? All right, here we go. Page 12. Again, I'll start with soprano. 1, 2, here I go. Ein Feuerdrach flieget das Dach und bringet uns Butter und Eier. Die Nachbarn dann sehen, die Funken wehen und schlagen ein Kreuz vor dem Feuer. Boom, boom, boom. Die Schwalbe fliegt, die Blumen erblühen zum Kranze. Bald huschen wir leis aus der Tür, bald huschen wir leis der Tür, Jochaisa zum prächtigen Tanze. Bald huschen wir leis aus der Tür, bald huschen wir leis aus der Tür, Yochasa zum prächtigen Tanza. Yochasa, Yochasa, Yochasa zum prächtigen Tanza. Okay. We're going to go back a little bit now, but any questions on that third stanza? Okay, all right, no questions. So now let's look at the piece in its entirety. Let's see what it means to go from start to finish, breaking this down into 3 stanzas. I think the whole thing lasts like, what, 2 minutes and 18 seconds or something like that when we're at tempo. So let's speak through the whole thing. Here we go. So we'll start at the pickup to 8. You guys start, of course, at your pickup to 9. Here we go. 1, 2, go. Die Schwalbe fliegt, der Frühling siegt und spendet uns Blumen zum Kranze. Bald huschen wir, leis aus der Tür und fliegen zum prächtigen Tanze. Ein Bock, ein Besenstock, der Wacken, reißt uns geschwind wie Blitz und Wind durch sausende Lüfte zum Braken. Reißt uns geschwind wie Blitz durch sausende Lüfte zum Braken. Bum, 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 bum. Beelzebub tanzt unser Trupp und küsst ihm die kralligen Hände. Ein Geisterschwarm fasst uns beim Arm und schwinget im Tanzen die Brände. Und ihm verheißt dem Trupp der Gaben auf Gaben. Sie sollen schon in Seide gehen und Töpfe voll Goldes graben. Sie sollen schön Seide gehen und Töpfe voll Goldes sich graben. Bum, 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 schum, bum, bum, bum. Ein Feuerdrach umflieget das Dach und bringet uns Butter und Eier. Die Nachbarn dann sehen, die Funken wehen und schlagen ein Kreuz vor dem Feuer. Die Schwalbe fliegt, der Blumen erblühen zum Kranze. Bald huschen wir, leis aus der Tür, bald huschen wir, leis der Tür, Jochheisa zum prächtigen Tanze. Bald huschen wir, leis aus der Tür, bald huschen wir, leis aus der Tür, Jochheisa zum prächtigen Tanze. Jochheisa, Jochheisa zum prächtigen Tanze. Yeah, I have a moment there at 70, sorry. So, who's in the, are we in a 50% category? Are we in a 75% category? Where do we think we are?
50%. The middle stanza is pretty tough.
Yeah, the middle one is the one tripping you up. Okay.
Ever since I got Emma's recording, I'm thinking 70 because it was great hearing her.
Nice, good. Yeah, see, good. Nice, excellent. Well, that's good. Yeah, we've got lots of resources out there, which is great. So what I want to do is I want to speak it one more time, and then I'm hoping we'll have Emma or Kara or another volunteer who wants to sing this. Okay, so we can hear it in the right octave with pitch. So let's go back. We're gonna up the tempo. I talked about this with soprano ones. Remember, we don't want perfection to become the enemy of good. You know, we just read through that. I messed up at least twice, but I can tell you I messed up. Okay, I messed up 70, and then I forgot the O umlaut earlier. But that was kind of okay. I'd take that, right? I mean, I want to be perfect. I want to get everything right. But don't let perfection be the enemy of good. Okay, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for participation and enjoyment and fun and learning. Those are the things we're looking for. So don't eliminate yourself because you know, you mess up a moment here or there. Because you know, if I was doing this in performance, I might do the same thing. Here we are, beginning. So a little brighter. Here we go. Starting out where the sopranos come in. This is the beginning of the music, page 3. 1, 2, go. Die Schwalbe fliegt, der Frühling sieht und spendet uns Blumen zum Kranze. Bald huschen wir, weiß aus der Tür und fliegen zum prächtigen Tanze. Ein Bock, ein Besenstock, der Wacken, reißt uns geschwind wie Blitz und Wind durch sausende Lüfte zum Bracken. Reißt uns geschwind wie Blitz durch sausende Lüfte zum Bracken. Bum, 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 schum, bum, bum, bum. Belzer Bub tanzt unser Trupp und küsst ihm die kralligen Hände. Ein Geisterschwarm fasst uns beim Arm und schwinget ihm tanzen die Brände. Und ihm verheißt dem Trupp der Gaben auf Gaben. Sie sollen schön in Seide gehen und Töpfe vor Golde sich graben. Sie sollen schön Seide gehen und Töpfe vor Golde sich graben. Ein Feuerdrach umflieget das Dach und bringet uns Butter und Eier. Die Nachbarn dann sehen, die Funken wehen und schlagen ein Kreuz vor dem Feuer. Die Schwalbe fliegt, die Blumen erblühen zum Kranze. Bald huschen wir leicht aus der Tür, bald huschen wir leicht der Tür, Jochheise zum prächtigen Tanz. Bald huschen wir leicht aus der Tür, bald huschen wir leicht aus der Tür, Jochheise zum prächtigen Tanz. Jochheise, Jochheise, Jochheise zum prächtigen Tanz. Yeah. So if you're at 40%, 50%, 60%, remember, you don't need to go from 40% to 100% right now. You need to go from 40 to 45%, right? Just make one or two things better. Take your foundation. Hey, here are the things I'm comfortable with, but one person mentioned that like stanza 2 was giving them fits. Pick one or two things out of stanza 2 and make it better, right? You chip away at it. You chisel away at it. It's not about this ball of perfection. You know, I think of music like you're sculpting. You start with this block of marble and you chip away at it and you find what's inside. You know, so, I mean, I think that's a pretty good analogy for what we're trying to do here. Chip away at the little things, okay? Good. We got a volunteer for singing? Come on now.
All right, just forgive me the high E flats.
No, that's fine. It's fine. Yeah, no. Yeah, this is about everybody having a chance to learn. This is not about. I mean, I hope over time more folks will want to take a chance to volunteer because it gives me a chance to hear you. It gives me a chance to provide some feedback. And if any one of you is struggling with something, chances are someone else is struggling with that too, right? So that way, you know, if we have some feedback, we have some coaching, it's good for everybody. All right, so Emma, play that accompaniment so we can hear it, and you do your thing. Everybody sing with Emma in your own space. I'm going to mute me.
Der Frühling singt und spendet uns Blumen zum Kranze. Fortuschen wir, leis aus der Tür und fliegen zum prächtigen Tanze. Einmal kein Wesenschock, der Wocken reißt uns geschwind wie Blitz und Wind durch sausende Luft zum Brocken. Reißt uns geschwind wie Blitz durch sausende Luft zum Brocken. Tanzt uns und küsst ihm die kralligen Hände. Ein Geisterschwarm fasst uns beim Arm und schwinget tanzen die Brände. Und in der heißen Trupp der Gaben auf Gaben, sie sollen schön in Seide gehen und Topf auf Gut ist sie graben. Sie sollen schön Seide gehen und Topf ist sie graben.
Sorry. Yikes.
Und flieget das Dach und bringet uns Butter und Eier. Die Nachbarn einsehen, die Funken wehen und schlagen ein Kreuz vor dem Feuer. Die Schwalbe fliegt, die Blumen erblühen zum Kranze. Polduschen wir leis aus der Tür, Polduschen wir leis der Tür, Polduschen zum prächtigen Tanze. Polduschen wir leis aus der Tür, Polduschen wir leis aus der Tür, du leis zum prächtigen Tanze. Du heiser, ja, heiser zum prächtigen Tanze.
Emma, man, there's so much good in all that. So much good. Very, very nice. Yeah, great job, Emma, at measure, let's see here, page 13, measure 4748. You really cleaned that up nicely. She was a little late there in her recording, the section leader recording, but that's great. Very, very nice. Couple of things, Emma. The only thing I would say that stuck out to me as like a pronunciation thing that you were doing frequently, watch your Z's. When you have the written Z, tanza, kranza, make sure it's more of a TS, you know, not kranza, kranza. But no, really great. Yeah, you know, continue to work your dynamic range, right? And for all of you, when you are, when you're speaking through this, which is a great way to practice, incorporate dynamics into your speaking. And hopefully you heard me doing that. Because, you know, that way you're just reinforcing what you want to do. Because we want each person to, you know, there's a big dynamic range in this piece. But yeah, really, really nice. The other thing I would say for everyone, and you know, and that's, I've heard this from the other section leaders. This piece, you want to imagine yourself on stage with this very strong stance. The story you are telling is one of, I mean, these witches aren't messing around, right? They're not messing around. They are. I mean, it's playful. There's no doubt that it's playful, but they are engaging with this demonic force. And this is classic German romantic stuff. This is what they wanted to write about. It's what they wanted to sing about. But imagine your persona on stage. You know, it is, you know, 1 foot slightly in front of the other. You know, you're engaging your audience directly, and you are, you know, strong, and there's a vitality in the story you're telling, right? It's not this kind of, and I'm not, you know, kind of the way I was speaking earlier. I was doing this. Hey, it's so easy, right? That's not the persona you want to have. Okay, it's okay to, you know, it's okay to practice like that sometimes. But you know, so think about the way you go after this. Reißt uns geschwind wie Blitz und Wind durch sausende Lüfte zum Brocken. I mean, that's very, very strong rhythm, very, very strong text. So anyway, keep that in mind as you're moving towards your your recording, go watch some soloists sing this. That's kind of the physical persona you want to have, right? It's very different than the lullaby, very different than We Will Remember Them, right? Very different. But, you know, see if you can have a physical presence, even in your camera, that will help you express the excitement of this text. But yeah, great. Emma, thank you so much. That's really, really wonderful.
Hey, Rob.
Good. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for you. This is Liz.
Hey.
Measure 69 and 70
Yep.
Starts the hija phrases. There's 2 notes there. Are we all just singing the top note?
Oh yeah, no. So what the arranger has done here is he's created this cascade between the sopranos and the altos, but the arranger realizes that, you know, altos a lot of times don't see high Gs. So to answer your question, Liz, if we have altos who are comfortable with that high G and the pitch is great, sing that high G. But if you're not comfortable with it, then just do what Emma did. Sing the low G. That's totally fine. You see how the low G is a little smaller? We call it a cue. The low G is a suggestion. But yeah, so sing the high G if you've got it, but if you don't worry about it. Sing that low G.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so if we have, you know, how many alto twos do we have? Let's say we've got 12 alto twos. If we have 11 people singing a high G and 1 people singing a low G, that's fine. If we have 11 people, or we have 6 people singing a high G and 5 people singing a low G, that's fine too. It's really whatever you're comfortable with. Because I mean, what we want there is just the excitement of this yochai, you know, over and over, kind of just cascading. Cool. What else?
I have a quick question. This is Olivia again.
Yep.
On the whole note, I can get away with the high notes when they're just a short one, but when it's a whole note, my voice shakes. Is there a tool or a way to try to get the shake out?
Well, are you looking like what, like an E flat, like on page 15, like the D and the E flat at the bottom? So yeah. Well, I mean, the first suggestion that would go for anyone is, you know, you certainly want to make sure you've got your breath underneath you. So as you are preparing for those moments, Olivia, make sure you are stagger breathing in such a way that, you know, when I get there, first and foremost, I can't be on my last moment of breath, right? So like using page 15 as an example, somewhere in those 4 or 5 measures before, you want to make sure you're breathing, leave out an entire dotted quarter note, okay? Somewhere in there, so that by the time you get down to that bottom of the page, you are ready to go. Physically, you want to make sure you've got your feet under you. You know, you want to be very connected top to bottom. So it's that physical persona I was talking about will actually help you achieve what you want to do musically. So start with, you know, be very rooted all the way up and down through your feet, have great breath available, and, you know, start there and see if that's helpful to you. You also, it's hard to do in this Zoom context, but there are things that we can be doing, of course, in our warm-ups and all of that, specifically with breathing. But that's a moment where you want to think about engaging. You can't engage your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is independent of, you know, your conscious thought, but you can engage your core muscles, your abdomen and the intercostals. Those are your muscles in between your rib cage bones. Those are things you can do to help your diaphragm, give it support. And that's what vocalists are doing all the time, you know, on opera stages and whatnot. So you want to have a little sense of engagement there with your abdominal muscles. And so that helps to create a sense of more vocal support. You know, if we were doing some of these things together in real life, we would actually be doing some of those exercises together. I suspect you've done them in the past with Janie. I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary. But all that is to say, have good breath in your lungs. strong physical presence, so you're not tense, but you are rooted in your feet when you're singing this, those high moments, and see about engaging your abdominals so that you feel that support, from low in your body. Your diaphragm is just under your lungs. Your lungs aren't that big. I mean, your lungs are, I don't know where the bottom is. You guys kind of see me. The bottom of your lungs is somewhere in here, right? They're not that large. They're not that low. But what happens is you use those abdominal muscles to get your guts out of the way so your diaphragm has more room to drop, and then you can engage them so that you help the diaphragm create more support under your lungs. It's kind of an anatomy lesson, but again, I'm sure none of that's new. I'm sure Janie was talking about some of the same stuff. But all of that is ways to make sure that as you have those higher pitches, you've got the physical support you need. I would start there and see how we do.
I think the key word there that you said that probably helped is when you said being tense, because I think in my head, because I'm so horrible with the high notes that I work up, I know it's coming, so I probably tense up. So that's probably a big part of it is I need to relax.
No, yeah, and it's, singing is so physical, but you'll hear me talk about, I try to be very specific with terminology because we don't want to be tense, but you still have to be engaged. And of course, being engaged with your muscles, we're talking about a kind of tension, right? So we want it to be a tension that is not here through the upper chest and the shoulders. We don't want tension here. We want this to be part of our relaxed, rooting all the way through the feet. We want this part of our body to remain relaxed and fluid and not tight. But our abdominals, oh yeah, those things have to be engaged to help give us that support. This is what people spend all their time in voice lessons doing, And again, once we're back in person together, we will do some exercises to help you become, better aware of these parts of your body. So that way you'll know, okay, so my shoulders are fine. I'm not doing this with them. They're where they need to be, but I also know how to engage the abdomen when I need it. Yeah, good question. Anything else, guys?
Hey, Rob?
Yeah.
It's Jane.
Hey, Jane.
I found that my biggest physical obstacle is my brain. And that, that if, when I'm coming up onto a high note, and so many times it's like my brain is clamped down, and that makes my throat keep me from going as high as I can. I can sing up there, but if I think about it too much, my brain shuts me down, and so the less I think about it, the better I do.
Oh, I totally hear what you're saying.
Let's work together, and I just have to not think about it too much.
Yeah. Well, no, you may be touching on a little bit of performance anxiety, which, by the way, I deal with. I'm so glad that you guys didn't hear my prelude this last week. I learned a new piece for the prelude last week at my church gig, and I learned it. I played it dozens of times just fine. It wasn't that hard, and I kid you not, I have no idea what happened. Now, I mean, luckily, it's one of those things where probably nobody, like 2 people probably noticed there was an issue. But, I mean, I deal with those things where sometimes my mind isn't helping me. And the weird thing about this last week is I'm not sure what happened, and I've been doing this a long time. So I totally understand what you're saying, where sometimes, the mind isn't helping you the way you expect it to. So I completely sympathize. I totally get it.
That's why I'm awesome in the shower. I mean, like, awesome in the shower because I don't think about it.
Right. Well, yeah. So again, so just certainly remember that we're not going for perfection here, right? So don't beat yourself up over it. We're going for our best efforts, and I bet there won't be a person in the room, including me. There won't be a person in the room who does everything perfectly, and that's okay, right? That's the strength of a chorus. Is even in this Zoom environment, we are still greater than the sum of our individual parts. So definitely keep that in mind. Yeah. So It's 10, so, oh, sorry, 9 o'clock. We're going to wrap up, but I'm not going to shut this thing down